First, we want to help everybody understand symbology. The less spells we use and the more images we use, the more you understand, because us being souls and dealing with sense, that means that you have to feed the soul and feed the sense. Now, to feed you nothing but spells would be to feed your sound, because what do these spells invoke? Sound. The spells can also invoke images, but if I give you no images with the actual spells, then all you will end up getting is sound. And now you're blindly following or blindly leading. Blind leading the blind. We have to feed every single sense we have, and that's exactly what this crossroad is about and what Christ is about. Now, when you go to John chapter 14, verse 6, it tells you that Christ saith unto him and her, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father and Mother but by me. What does that mean? Are y'all ready to break that down? Are y'all ready? I'm asking, are y'all ready to really break? We're going to read a few more verses. This is a form of scripture science right here. You know, so for those that are interested, we do have these courses available also, and these books available. Just reach into us by emailing mentalmagicomniverse@gmail.com. Y'all ready to go forward with this? Huh? Y'all ready to find out what this really represents, and not to lean on our own understanding, but even pair it with our ancestors' works. Right, so we're going to show a lot of these open images that we put out, but I want to show you some of the ones that I found that we built over in the Europe area. So we're going to tie it all in together and help you understand this sacred story about your heart. Yes, your heart. Something that we have crossed. We crossed our own heart before. Get my drift? It might not hurt us that much because there's a soul inside of us. Get my drift? But when somebody cross you, you feel it. Woo! Woo! Now, no man cometh to the Father except through us. All right. This is an ancient Moomyan text right here. So if you want to know what was really going on in the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 1900s, or I say 1800s, kind of stopped after that due to some wars and a lot of the things that took place, a lot of disagreements. There was a lot of learning going on. We already had our language, we already had our text, we already had our understanding. We spent our time teaching those that came from the Europe area, Africa area, Asia area, or any other area, Australia area, just as our brothers and sisters in Europe was teaching those that traveled from the America area, the Africa area, the Asia area, the Australia area, just like our brothers and sisters was in Africa, teaching those that came from the America area, the Europe area, the Asia area, and the Australia area, just like our brothers and sisters in Asia was teaching those that came from, you see how we had it set up in every place with the same sacred knowledge? So now we're about to go through the imagery, right? And then we're going to break down the imagery of what all of this means. And we'll all start seeing things a lot clearly. Now, the same story has passed down, but what has changed about the story? Not just the imagery, the spelling, the understanding, to take us and to lead us another way. This is why you have a whole unrighteous nation. And all of us are starting to feel the heat and the pressures of that. And that's because we're not walking upright, which is why this being face is facing upright. We're going to understand how symbolic that is and the symbology of that as we go through this video. And we have plenty more videos right on our channel, YouTube channel, if you ever want to check that out, that breaks this down even a little more. Believe it or not. And like I said, we do have books and we do have a full curriculum for each and every last one of you. Omaha Emperor. Let's go to the next image. Okay. And that's representing spirit. If you're wondering why it looks like that, that's representing spirit, the spirit of God. Let's understand that. One is representing flesh, one is representing spirit. Let's go here. Here's another form of the cross that we built over in the area that they call Egypt or Africa. Believe it or not. See, as the knowledge was learned, then people were capable of creating their own world by placing spells on these areas. Keep in mind, And the war was due to us having our maps and others having newly created maps, so they wanted to get rid of ours. The war was about others having a newly developed language, so now they want to get rid of our language to cut off our communication amongst each other. This is how you see people communicating all around the world now, and that is a system and something that we once did. Now we don't even communicate in our neighborhood with each other. You get my drift? And we once communicated all amongst and all around this world. Believe not, and we were not afraid. This is something we understood that we had to do. You get my drift? So the scale right here, this is why this is called a skeleton. So the spell has been flipped so you don't see it, but the scale of God that weighs your heart, this weighs your heart. That's why your bones can get very heavy and your bones can get very weak and your bones can get very, that's why the Bible even talks about the bones, the scripture talks about the bones. These are ancient scriptures. These are ancient texts. So if you have a modern Bible today and you talk about these works, yet giving honor to these works and even willing to learn about them, then that shows that you're a little possessed, because your works came from this. Before your spelling existed in that form, your ancestors had to learn these works. Get my drift? So let's keep moving forward. This is the spine line right here. This is the clavicle. These are the arms, and you see it weighing and holding the heart. Holding the heart right there. That right there is symbolic of the heart. That right there is the feather, which is your muscles. Heart light is a feather. Now, here's a version of disciples, because what does your heart sit on? The disc. What does your rib cage, what is everything held by? Your spinal cord. That's why the Bible talks about one accord. This is an ancient version of your anatomy. This is anatomical breakdown. So not only would you have been learning about your anatomy in church and in school, you would have also been learning about how it works, and not just the body of you, but the body of the people. Remember, it's an entire body politic, which is why it's called a body politic, including the nation that you're a part of right now. It's the reason why all churches, for the most part, these are all different blueprints of different churches, are all built like your rib cage, which is where your heart sits. So we're going to go deeper into that, of what it means by no man coming to the Father except through me, and why it talks about the blood so much, Let's keep this in mind, because this is something that the Creator created. Let's keep going. Right now we're just going through images. So even this image right here is the same knowledge of what I just showed you with our Moomyan text that has been upgraded to another text and another story and another image, but it's the same. The spine, the center cross, that's the spine. That's why it's cut short right at the top. Your cervical only goes up so far, up until it reaches the dome. The arms hanging are the arteries that hang on your clavicle. These are the clavicle right here. The legs together, and your descending arteries, which reach from your heart and goes down the line. The head hanging towards the right chest, the head of the heart hanging towards the right chest. The apex is right over here. So it's symbology about you, not for someone to come outside of you and save you. There's something that can come inside of you and save you, which is a part of responsibility, a part of honor, a part of being righteous. Remember, the word is about being righteous. These type of things come through your blood. Your blood rises, your blood lowers. Remember your blood pressures? You get my drift? So all of these things are happening internal within you. That's why it tells you, each and every last one of you, bear your cross. Your cross is your spine and your clavicle. Each and every last one of us have this. So going through this process, you have to learn to accept you for who you are, for what you are. You cannot trick your heart. You cannot play your heart. You have went through this life. You have been persecuted. You have been chastised. Get it? You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that went on, but you can't lie to yourself about it and think you're going to get through it. You have to be honest about it. You get my drift? So let's keep going. You got to learn to be honest about it. It's a lot more. We're going to keep going. Hold on. I just want to make sure we get through all these images so we can get to the ones that I just got. That's in like the Russia area and all of those type of areas, in the Europe area. Get my drift? That's why it says in Luke chapter 14, verse 27, and whosoever does not bear his and her cross. I know a lot of y'all saying, but the Bible don't say that. Yes, remember, the Bible is written in many different versions. So allow me to read the one that was written by my ancestors instead of reading the one that was written by what I deem colonizers due to what they have done to my family through time. So you have to make sure you understand what's really happening in real life. And I'm not saying you can't hold that Bible, you can't read that Bible, you can't use that Bible. I'm not one to hate on anyone's culture. I'm not going to give someone the same energy they give me, because that's not what I want back. I'm going to give someone the exact godly energy that I have in me, and that's really about it. You get my drift? And we're going to keep moving forward. You don't have to like it. We want to make sure that we include all and not eliminate none, so we can all live as holy. You get my drift? Because men and women have this too. That's why I'm going to show you the woman's version also that we had on the other side of the world, so you can see this is nothing new. Luke chapter 14, verse 27, and whosoever does not bear his and her cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Remember, I showed you the picture earlier of the disciples. You have to pay attention to the spells too. So remember, I showed you earlier that same image of cross, or the same image of Christ. This is our ancient Moomyan text right here. This is just to help break down that it was symbolic of the heart. And that's why in Job chapter 38, verse 36, it says, who hath put wisdom in the inward parts, or who hath given understanding to the heart? You get my drift? This is the aorta. You see the hat, you see it facing the right chest because that's about the atrium, the left atrium, the right atrium. That's why you see it blue on one side and red on the other. And what does it mean by who have put wisdom in the inward parts? This is how you know God works. You could have had an argument with a person, and a person sitting there actually speaking wisdom to you, but you don't want to hear it because of whatever you're holding in your heart against this person. Let's say this person leave. Let's not even get into the scenario if they get into an accident, because a lot of times we just be very possessed and we just, we don't care about nothing. But let's say something was to happen to this person. Then all of a sudden you will want to release all of those evil things in your heart that you're holding against this person, because you don't want to feel that way about what you think is a dead person. You don't want to feel that way about someone you really love. It was just a misunderstanding or whatever the case may be. But let's say everything goes right? Let's say this person's still living, and let's say this person just couldn't get through to you. There's an inner voice that might come. You might be replaying that same situation in your heart. See, this is not something that's coming through your physical body. Once it comes through your physical body, it now can replay in your soul, which is your heart. So your inner eyes, your inner ears, your inner body is capable of seeing this is what's going on in your hidden temple. You get my drift? So if the creator chooses to put wisdom in your inward parts, where you like, nah, you know what? When this person do this, I'm going to do this. When this person da-da-da-da-da, I'm going to do this. You just thinking of all these evil things. And then something just says, man, come on, just let it go. Just let it be. This could be something the same person said to you. This could be something that your mother, your aunts, or somebody else that you allowed in your heart could have said to you. You might have ignored it coming from them, right? But then that inner voice come and it just, come on, man, let it go. Da 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 da. This person might be going through a bunch of this, that, and just flashing a bunch of this. Who hath put wisdom in the inward parts? See, that spirit can come through any one of us. Sometimes we just downplay each other because of the flesh, because of the type of life we have, because of the type of job we have, how much money we have. You see that God is not bought. A person shouldn't have to be rich to tell you the truth. A person shouldn't have to have a house or a car to love you. A person shouldn't have to have a bunch of money just to tell you something honest. That's where a lot of people are twisted at in their own heart. Or who hath given understanding to the heart. It's about giving it to the heart, not the brain, the heart. Matthew chapter 6, verse 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Get my drift? That's why it's speaking about the heart so much in these texts, because it's symbolic about something. You get my drift? Hold on, let's keep going. See if I got another one up here. Hold on one moment. Okay. Where's another one? Female version of Christ on the cross. And we do have this in with the area that they call Asia. And we do have this Moomyan stone in the area that they call America, where there's a woman on the cross. Once you understand what the cross is, now you can understand this woman on the cross. And her having wings, that's showing you she was an angel. You get my drift? That doesn't mean this is demonic and she was evil. And no, only someone that does not understand would assume or think something like that, when instead you're capable of actually learning, because women have a heart too. You get my drift? Now, let's see if I got any more that's out here in the open before we really get into this. I know I do. Just want to make sure I cover it all. All right, we don't want to rush through this. We want to take our time. We want to take our time with this. Oh. That when you in love with something, you just got to take your time with it. Here's more images of the cross. This is our ancient Moomyan stones. This is built in pyramids in America. This is built in pyramids in Africa. This is from our ancient Moomyan text that's built in America. And here's the cross. And as you can see, it's symbolic of the right chest. So even this little simple symbol, when you see this even in measurements, when you see this even in different orders and different people using this, understand that they're using the same knowledge. Even when you see images of George Washington and all this, you're going to see the same leveler. Boom, that's the right chest. That's why it's long, and it comes up. We broke it down so you can understand. Get my drift? The same right chest. Now, owl edge. You see the owl within that L? You see the owl within that L? This is in Africa. This is in America. This is in text. This is in stone. See the line that they're standing on? It's the diaphragm. All within you. That's the rib cage right there. That's why the steps look like that. Steps. Let's keep going. Righteous. That's why I was talking about right chest. Don't worry about what they spell. Worry about what you said. Because remember, they're trying to hypnotize people. Remember right here when it says, no man coming to the Father except through me? Well, remember how recently we revealed that Osiris symbolized the heart? In this video right here, for those that have not seen it, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Unlocked, Revealed. I'm telling you, you're going to love this video. Check this out when you got some time and link that video to this video. You're going to see that Osiris symbolized the heart. So now we see that verse come alive in an ancient text of something that the Moammans built over in Africa a long time ago. And you see the sun leading the pure, that's why they're wearing white, you get my drift, to the Father. To the Father. And you see the mothers in there, right? You see the mothers in there, right? I don't know why they don't have no mothers in it, but there's mothers in there, right? Okay. And that chamber right there is within the heart. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. The key to knowledge, G. The key to knowledge, G. Come on. Let's keep, oh, hold on. Let's keep going. Hey, everybody coming in. Hey. See? Same knowledge. No man cometh to the Father except through, oh. Get my drift? But now let's learn and understand what all of this truly represents, what the sun truly represents, even though plenty of you have already learned with us, right? We want to take it deeper now. And for those that are new to this, hey, you can enjoy all of this and understand we have full works that's backing it and helping it. So if you have interest in learning, just reach in to us at any given moment. We always available. Reach back as soon as possible. Hold on one moment. Let me show you some more. Show you some more. Okay. I want to show you this right here. This is Mary and Christ right here sitting in the lap. Now I'm showing you this particularly because the imagery that I'm going to lead to is going to show the Father with Christ in the lap. Now it's a more modern image, more so from the 1800s, but it's still correlating what we all used to go through as a people. And that shows you that we kept the knowledge in our hearts. Okay, they're really tripping with the video. It shows you that we kept the knowledge in our heart like the book of Eli. Whereas he didn't necessarily need the book. He was just trying to get it to be, you know, reprinted and all that. But even if he didn't have the book, he just needed to make it to get the message out. You get my drift? That's all. It's in your heart. You get my drift? And as you can see, this Christ version symbolized the aorta. You see the braid on the side. You see Christ sitting right in the lap. I figured they was going to be tripping if I kind of went this far. But we about to go this far. You get my drift? Oh my Haji, we're about to go this far. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Thank y'all. Everybody who fight through this. And like I said, I'm going to make sure I put this up on YouTube, y'all. So just look forward to that. Look at this. So remember when we broke this out? This is another one that's right on there. Luke chapter 17, verse 21, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. But you're not special. The kingdom of God is within you. And we broke down one level, once again, of Christ, symbolizing the heart. This, the circle of Willis, to help you understand the anatomy, the three wise men, and the ascending aorta. You get my drift? So whenever you got time, that video is also right here too. Just know that that ties in with this, of what's within you already, of bearing your cross. Get my drift? Hold on. Okay. Uh-oh. What's up, G? Okay. You have any more to show? Yep, right here. Remember how I told you? Okay. Ancient Moomyan temple with the cross built in America. See that right there? With a prophet right there. Ancient Moomyan temple with cross built in Africa. Same knowledge. Heart being weighed on the cross. Same understanding. See the disciples right above it. Get my drift? These different crosses, symbolic of the coastal cartilages. The centerpiece is your sternum. Even the letter T is not the letter T. So that's what I mean by, you know, someone may be using that symbol today, but that doesn't mean that's what it means. That's just what they said. It means this ancient Moomyan temple with the cross is built in America. And this is a double cross built in America. Get my drift? Let's keep learning. Remember, it's all about you. Now it's all about everything else to take you out the picture. There's an ancient temple right here. As you can see when you look at it from an aerial view, which is something that we built for the Creator. See, you're not going to see this unless you had something to be able to see from an aerial view. So when we built this, that lets you know that we had the Creator in mind as we did this. And it was something that we wanted the Creator to see. The things we did, we wanted the Creator to see. Not this person, not that person. Because that's why a lot of people are selling their soul today. Because they want a certain people to see it. Because a certain people are only going to support you if you sell your soul. They will not support you unless you sell your soul. And that's just how those people are. You get my drift? That's how that coat is. And that doesn't mean that a person has to be in a position of power. We put people in a position of power the moment that we allow them to control how we react. The moment that we allow them to control how we move and how we live. You get my drift? Once again, here's the hidden temple. There's the heart. So it could be someone that you call a friend. It could be someone that you call a family member. It could be someone that you trust in through your heart. Y'all ready to get in this? Y'all ready to get in this now? Oh, snap. Y'all ready to get in this? Or y'all ready to get in this, G? Let me know. See? Look at my screen. Don't look at my screen, G. Yeah. See, you can sell your soul to anybody. You sell your soul to anybody, G. That's why you need to make sure everybody around you righteous. Not just this person, that person, this person, that person, this person. Nope. Okay. Nah, we need everybody righteous. If they're going to be in your life, you sacred. We need to live like it. Don't act like it, live like it. Get my drift? Uh-oh. Image number 1. Or shall I say 0? Which is 1. Uh-oh. Ancient Moomyan text right here. You see it? See it hanging to the side? See the heart? See that cross? You understand the planes of you? The body planes? This was another thing that we were going to have to learn. Because there's multiple sides to us. So that cross is more symbolic than you think. It's the different sections of your heart, the different sections of your brain, the different sections of your face, you have to learn to see things from all sides. Omni, all. Omniverse, all verse. Get my drift? So this is to help you understand these. This is a modern version of an ancient story because you are more ancient than you think. Now, let me show you this image. Remember all the moon images that I show you? Remember all the sun images that I show you? See? Our soul, we have two lives, y'all. It is not just about this flesh life. It is not just within that hidden temple. There's a lot more going on than we think. So now, I want to show you something sacred about your heart. Now that you see, it's about the heart. Each and every last one of you, no matter what generation it is, no matter what time it is. I want to show you this imagery. This was built in Europe of Christ. It's the imagery of Christ along with the disciples. All right, we're about to go through this. Oh, yeah. This was built in Europe. Right? You see it wrapped up? in the bundle. Okay. This was built in America. See him leaned over? Ancient Moomyan stone built in America. Ancient Moomyan stone built in Europe. Look at the bundle and the design on the bundle. Same design. See, back then, all of our stories correlated because it was about imagery. So our languages could have been different, but our story was the same. Yeah, same wrapping as the manger. Oh, you get it, G? Yeah. Get my drift? Now, what is that symbolic of? There's something special about you that's bundled up within your heart that ties to the circle of Willis. But we're going to go through the heart, right? Because it says, no man coming to the Father except through me, right? No man, right? Uh-oh. Let's look at this ancient image right here. See, this is before they had these spells, so this is even in the 1800s, during the time where they said you was enslaved and all. Like I said, the stories ain't adding up, G. Okay? So we can't allow no one to hypnotize us, okay? Now that we know that Christ is symbolic of the heart, and even if you didn't know, hopefully those images played a major part. And like I said, we put plenty of videos up for you to take the time to study and learn, break the spell, and really see what our ancestors were trying to tell you, so you can get right in your heart. In John chapter 14, verse 6, Christ said unto him and her, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Is your heart not the life of your body? It's not your brain. You can go brain dead and still be living. Can your heart die and you still live? No. Now, let's not just go with the physical. You can go brain dead and still live because other people can think for you. As long as you still got love, someone will think for you. As long as you still got love, loyalty, and all of these type of things in your heart, you do not have to be the smartest. You do not have to be the thickest. You do not have to be the prettiest. You do not have to be the none of that. As long as, now we talking spiritual stuff. A person that loves you ain't gonna look at you like, oh, you stupid, or you. They're gonna see how we're one body and how we can utilize each other, and they're gonna respect whatever it is you know, whatever it is you've been through, whatever it is you do have. You get my drift? So now, can you live without a soul though? Can you live without a heart internally? Nope. Because if you treat people like shit, as they say, ain't nobody trying to be there for you. You get my? You ain't gonna live in nobody else. Other people's heart ain't gonna beat for you. Other people ain't gonna care for you suffering. Other people gonna even think you deserve it. And the last thing you need to do is cut off your loved ones, because you best believe in that culture, it's people preying on everybody. So it's gonna always be somebody wishing in their heart that something bad happened to you and feeling like you deserve it. And them same people could have helped you throughout life and chose not to. You see, there's a lot of things that's not being seen because of the heart. So don't allow the people who portray to live this life, yet not allow it to reflect in their mannerisms and to think that someone is going to come and be righteous. Get my drift? No, it's about the righteousness coming through you. Oh. In every situation, not just the physical situations you get through, because those physical situations are just as real as the internal ones. What do I mean by that? You know how if you in public, you know how to, be nice to people, be kind, because you don't want no problems, right? Why don't we respect the spirit and soul the same way? What makes us think we can walk through the heart? And when you going through a scenario internally when nobody's around and you're really going through something in your heart, what I mean by going through something in your heart, you get to be sitting in a room, ain't nobody around, and you picturing about doing this, picturing, what is wrong with you? You think that don't lead to, you think nobody's watching? Or just no human? We really think we could just get away with something, but that's why I showed you these different planes of the body. Because our ancestors showed us that so we wouldn't be stupid and get set up to do dumb things. We would understand we was being watched, and we would act as if we being watched. Because that's how we act in public, like we being watched. But them people don't mean well. Them people don't care. Some of them people just treat you like that or act like that in public. But when they go home, they're a whole demon. Our ancestors on to a whole nother world. God really is the one watching. Our ancestors is on to a whole nother world. They ain't got time to be watching us. They out living elsewhere, building elsewhere, just like we was building here before we came here. Before this generation, I want to say we, before this generation came, we came here, we built, we did some things, and we went on to a whole nother world doing some greater things. And now people come today and are amazed or ignore exactly the things that we built and why we built it. They ain't worried about us like that because we ain't worried about them. Our job is to focus on God like they did, because that's what still is here. This is their house. Their house. Our ancestors were super spiritual. And a lot of people take that for granted. That's why you see the clouds and all of these things in this imagery. So let's go deeper with this. Right? Because now I want you to understand something sacred within your heart. The only ancestry we got to really care about us while we're here is our relatives, our family, and our brothers and sisters that we choose to talk to and treat like family, so they can treat us like family and acknowledge and get beyond these spells and be willing to say things to them that we was not taught to say. Because I was not taught to say this to you by colonists. I was taught to treat you like a stranger. I was taught to treat you like you evil. I was taught to treat you like you ain't nothing. I was taught to treat you like I can't trust you. I was taught to treat you like I should be scared of you. I was taught to treat you like I should fear you. I was taught to treat you like I should hate you. I was taught to treat you like you ain't shit. I was taught to treat you like you ain't nothing. I was taught to treat you like I'm above you. I was taught to treat you who are you? That's what I was taught. I didn't go with them teachings. Get my drift? And that's why I have problems in this world. I'm just glad I don't have no problems beyond this world. You get my drift? Got to the Father. No man cometh to the Father except through me. That's the heart speaking. So regardless of whether it's in English, images, ancient text, modern text, it's true. Yeah, and that one body extend beyond generations. Because our body get passed down from our ancestors. The blood get passed on. Understand, we come from some horrible people and we come from some holy people. It's two sides to us. Understand, some of our family today, holy. Some of our family today, ratchet. You get my drift? Sometimes we was holy throughout this lifetime. Sometimes we was ratchet. Every last one of us. You wouldn't even know what right is if you ain't do wrong. A lot of people that want to get you to believe that this stuff ain't real, them some of the people that did the most evil, vile things in the world. And they feel like just because they can't turn their life around, right? They want to get you to believe, man, F all that ain't real, this, it make them feel better. Get some other people to know, you know it's real. Because if it ain't real, why it's in your heart? If it's in your real, if it's not real, why you even got to say that? If it's even real. If it's not real. You get my drift? You got to understand how important your blood is. Your blood. So now let's break this image down real quick, and then we're going to get into that. We're going to get into a few more verses. Notice it's red and blue. You see the two fingers of God pointing that way and that way? Okay. The vena cava within your heart points out that way, points out that way. It directs things within your heart. You see little baby Christ right there in the center. Little bubblehead Christ. Little bubblehead Christ. You see that right there? Okay. That's symbolic of this. The red side. Get my drift? You see this right here? You got big dog and you got the baby. Big daddy, the baby. Why is God supposedly wearing white? This is symbolic. Why is God in this imagery wearing white? What holds the heart together? The tendons. The tendons. The tendon. That's the reason why it's even spelled that way. The tendon. You see how it has 3 points around the head? Symbolic for the aorta, which comes up out of the heart. 3 arteries. Boom, boom, boom. One goes up and to the left, one goes up and to the right, one goes straight up. What do you see pointing? Boom, boom, boom. What's behind that? The superior vena cava or cava. What's that? The blue side. Hold on. See them together? You see how it look like they got legs? You see how the artery or the aorta is sitting on top of the vena cava? Just like you have Christ sitting on top of God. Get my drift? It's symbolic. That's the diaphragm. You see how it look? Okay. Now you understand this bottom piece. That's the diaphragm, these arches right at the bottom. See the red and blue birds around it? How many do you see? How many red birds do you see? The cardinals. How many of them? 1, 2, 3. What's that symbolic of? Your aorta. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, let's get into the reason why they're in a circle. What is the circle symbolic of? The ventricular segmentation. This is within your heart, the chambers. The will of God. Get my drift? That's the actual will of God. It's within your heart. Right here. It's the base, the mid, and the apex. Get my drift? So now, and this is what the sagittal section of your pericardium look like. So you see how there's a seat and there's something behind it, the father, the child sitting right in it. And this is sitting right within the center part. So now let's read a few verses with this, and then I'm going to show you something. In John chapter 14, verse 6, it says, Christ said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man or woman cometh unto the Father or the mother, except through me, except by me, except by the heart. You think you're going to get God with fake love? Huh? No person. See, this is what I mean. We finna get deep. Let me read these verses real quick and then we're going to talk. We're going to have a talk. Acts chapter 20, verse 28. Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over which the Holy Spirit hath made you overseers. What they mean by that? When you're not around somebody, who is your heart still thinking about? Who is your heart still connected to? Who is your heart still feeling for? Get my drift? Because everybody's not thinking about protecting the same people when we all get in that private place. Everybody's not willing to risk their life for the same people when we all get in that private place. Get my drift? Everybody has a flock within their heart that they'll die for, live for, and all of that. But you ain't got Christ in you. Huh? You got a man or a woman that's willing to die for you right now, but you waiting on one? You see the hypnotism? You got a man or woman right now that lived a certain life, but they got righteous. They turned their life around. They purified themselves. They went through God. They really had a change of heart. Not just a change of mind, man. I'm going to get my life right. Man, I'm going to get my life right. Why you even talk like that? You don't know what you're talking. Go ahead and get it right. If you're going to get it right and stop playing with God. You see that little branch right there? That's the muscles right there in the segment. So we're going to get into that. Right? No, you don't play with God. God is something serious, dude. You don't play with God, all right? It made you overseers, right? To feed the church of God, which he and she have purchased with his and her own blood. Did a man give you that blood? You sure this text ain't about your body, though? Are we finna get into some more? I got more to reveal. We just going through the verses, though. And everything we already just talked about, huh? Which God purchased with his and her own blood. You didn't get this blood from man, okay? This how you know your family goes beyond the spells and the people you claim your family by name or marriage, right? If you need a heart transfusion or a blood transfusion, do you look for somebody with the same flesh as you or the same blood as you? That's a blood relative. Right, your family bigger than you think, and that's what they don't want you to know. That's what they don't want you to know. They want you to believe it's strangers everywhere. Your family through the blood of God, though. Not through the blood of your mother and your father, through the blood of God. It's greater than you think. Let's keep going. Romans chapter 3, verse 25. Whom God hath set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his and her blood, not somebody else's, to declare his and her righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God. Not when somebody else say you wrong, but when God say you wrong. Get my drink, because somebody will hold something against you and have you feeling bad all your life and then have you doing this and doing that to make up to them. But you think God ain't got that type of power? You better have that type of love for God, because people be hard on you, G. They make their own rules up instead of going with, nah, you violated God's laws and rules versus me. They'll make it personal to them. Get my drift? Matthew chapter 26:28. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. So anybody out there who have ever spoken, anybody out there who have ever gave their testimony, anybody out there who have ever gave their time, anybody out there who ever shared their knowledge, their wisdom, or any of these type of things with people, you shed your blood. What's going on in your heart? Do not hold in what's in your heart because you are afraid of that coat attacking you, because you are afraid of that coat and see what that coat will say and do, and they'll betray you, they'll disown you, they're not as cool or as righteous as you thinking. You don't want to be surrounded by them. You only gonna get eaten one day. You get my drift? These works that you see on the YouTube and on the Instagram, these are my blood. My people help me with it. This our blood. We one body. You get? That's why I honor them so much. I do not dishonor the people living right in front of me, but yet honor people that so-called not living or once lived. Now you're honoring the dead. See, people think that's what our ancestors did, or that's what we do, but that's what they do. They honoring a dead God that they're waiting to come back. We honoring a God that still lives, comes and checks up on us all the time, lives within the heavens and beyond. Get my drift and help people understand that. We honor the people that's living and around us right now. I don't just honor my ancestors that once lived, but don't recognize the people of today are those same people and those descendants of them. That's why I share my time with my people of today. I don't honor just no dead people, no ghosts. This is not just about no invisible, none of that. I'm not hypnotized like that. You get my drift? My God ain't just no invisible. It's very visible. Some people just too blind to see. You get my drift? It's not my problem. It's not my problem at all, G. Sound personal. Right? Now, it says, for this is my blood of the New Testament, because this generation is a new test. This generation right now is a new test, y'all. And we got to make sure we help each other learn how to get through this, because if not, you see how this internet can swallow what's up, right? You see how the drugs into this that can swallow what's up, right? You see how we could turn on each other and start talking about each other instead of realizing you ain't never even tried talking to that person. And that's exactly what that person probably needed. The right guidance. Get my drift? Nah, if they gonna wake up, we gonna wake them up. Right? It says, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. What's shed? What's shed when you give it out? No, you don't have to give out your physical blood, G. But in order for you to spend any time talking to somebody, that's taken away from your blood, your time, something that God gave you. For you to open your mouth, that's opening your heart. For you to open up what's inside of you, that's why it's very important for you to be with somebody that you can love and that's honorable and that want honesty and all that, because they're not going to attack you for being honest. They're not going to attack you for being real. They're not going to attack you for none of them. They're actually going to love you for it. Even the scriptures tell you that. Get my drift? They'll love you for it. They ain't going to be against you. They're going to be for you. For being honest with them, because everybody in their life ain't honest with them, G. Some people just, nope. You shed for that, right? Chapter 1, 1 John chapter 5, verse 6. This is he and she that came by water and blood. Now let me show you this image. Water and blood. By water and blood. So you see this wheel right here? Respect to you too, King. Oh, y'all, I love y'all. Y'all know that. This is my way of shedding that blood to show you. Taking whatever may come with this. I don't care. Get my drift? The good and the bad. You see that? The waters. The water that turned to wine. The water that turned to wine. Your blood converts all the waters within your body into blood to keep you going. Not just the physical waters, but the spiritual waters. The things you hear, the things you see, the things you feel. That's why they can cause tears. That's why they can cause for you to be emotional on the inside. All of these things happen through the heart. So now it's talking about the water and it's talking about the blood. 1 John chapter 5, verse 6. This is he and she that came by water and blood. You have cerebral spinal fluid within you. I repeat, cerebral spinal fluid within you. That's the water. It gets passed down from generation to generation. Even Christ, not by water only, but by water and blood. By water and blood passed through all of us. By water and blood of who? God. By water, and no matter what generation it's in, it did not get. Just because the water living today is different, so you think from the ocean living 10,000 years ago, don't mean the ocean of today is not related to the ocean of yesterday. Okay, you can't cut water or divide water. Water is not divided by words. Water is not divided by paper. Water is not divided by none of these type of things. Water is water. Blood is blood, even if it has different segments. And it is the spirit that beareth witness. It's not your flesh. It's something internally. You might see something walking by you, but then you might realize how important somebody is in spirit when you just sitting down and you may be going through something, and then your heart brings up someone that may be able to help you in that scenario. It's by spirit. Get my drift? Your heart leads you to someone that may be able to help you with that, right? Because the spirit is truth. 1 John chapter 1 verse 7. But if we walk in the light and he and she is in the light, we have fellowship one with another. How? Because we walking in the heart. So no, we don't have to physically go to the same building. No, we don't have to physically all claim Moomyan. No, we don't have to physically claim the same state. No, we don't have to physically claim the same religion. No, we don't have to physically claim the same this, claim the same that, claim the... Guess what, y'all? It's just us having an understanding that if we walk in the light and the understanding, right? That spirit is already light, right? And we have fellowship with one another just by all tapping into that. And the blood of Christ, his and her son, cleanse us from all sin. So someone that chooses not to understand our ancestral works and to demonize it or whatever the case may be of any kind, those are people that got some real dealings to do with God. G, you need to go talk to God and get away from me, G. That's what people like that need to do. If you want me to believe that this type of stuff ain't real just because you done did some things you probably think you can't come back from, because you don't understand that you're going to have to meet God through your heart. You're going to have a change of heart. You're going to have to shed within the heart. Hold on. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 22. This is what it says. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood. It's not just talking about no physical stuff. Purged with blood. See, when people can't do it internally, you're starting to see a purge externally. When people cannot cleanse out the evils within them and don't know how to make good with the evils within them because all these people they scared of that it did them dirty and all these extra things, and now they just waxing worse and worse and worse and worse. Now they start purging and shedding blood physically because they feel like this is a joke now. This ain't real. They think God power ain't real. No, the devil power ain't real. The devil's laws ain't real. The devil's books ain't real. The devil's language ain't real. That culture and that hypnotism they got people, that ain't real. Them lies they tell, that ain't real. The language, that ain't real. Them stories they tell, that ain't real. Don't ever get God's stuff twisted and tangled with that. Don't get it confused, okay? Hold on. You got to shed that. I'm finna show you how to shed it too. Do not cut yourself. Because that's what they want you to do. Them the type of movies and stuff they give our children, they give our people. Them suicidal thoughts and all them type of evil thoughts and them type of purges come through that television and that cult that produces those type of things, that hide behind those type of things and think it's entertaining. Because they family protected, but they want your children to go through it. Okay, that's cool. Right, you couldn't put your money behind nothing else. Okay, Hebrews chapter 9, verse 22. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood. And without shedding of blood is no remission. What do I mean by shedding of blood? You keep going through your heart and feeling like the evil things you did to somebody is okay? Cool. You're going to keep getting worse and worse. Your flesh going to grow. You're going to get older. And you're going to miss so many things throughout life. And you're going to actually miss out on a greater life here and a greater life beyond here. Because you want to keep replaying in your heart the evils. You want to keep replaying in your heart reasons to hate. You want to keep replaying in your heart all of these things instead of shedding that blood and seeing why you should let that go or not let that go. Why you should just grow from that. Why you should just learn from that. That's a shedding of blood when you finally let these things go and you start getting on the other side of the heart and opening up that love. One more time. That's what they mean by shedding that blood. No, it's not talking no physical nature. Sometimes it might lead to you having to shed a little blood physically. I never said it might not lead to that. I'm trying to prevent that because we ain't soft. So don't ever think that just because I'm on this side, no, G. No. We still about nature. What you thought? This was never to take us away from that. But now let's resolve the issues we can, and we'll worry about all the other stuff later. Leviticus chapter 17:11. Because we need to make things right with our family before we worry about any enemies. Okay? Period. Because once we make right with our family, we'll find out we probably don't even got no enemies. More and more, G. Because we all family. Leviticus chapter 17, verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. See, you think you flesh, but the life of your flesh is in the blood. You think it's not important to learn about God's blood? Okay. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. And I have given it to you upon the altar that makes an atonement for your souls. God gave you that blood upon the altar. What did it mean by upon the altar? Remember this image I showed you earlier? How every church is built just like your body. What you think that blood given for is just to bleed? Was it just to bleed? You got blood just to bleed, or was it to make things right? Was it to get things right with whomever that may be? Right? You think it's just to bleed, though, G? Come on, G. I know you smarter than that. I know you wiser than that. I know you better than that. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Where the imagery at? Upon the altar? This the altar? You got an altar in your heart. Yep. You can go left with it. You can go right with it. You could be thinking about doing some evil stuff to somebody in your heart, and then you what? Alternate that. Why you think that word exists? You alternate. You know what? Nah, I ain't even gonna do them like that. I'm gonna actually show some love. I'm actually ... I used to go through this every time before a video, y'all. All these thousands of videos that we did on Facebook, I used to do that all the time in my heart because I felt like, man, I ain't finna come back out there. People be disrespecting, But then you know what? I start visualizing a few of y'all that care about me. See, not to make it personal. But just because it's not personal to me, I want to have to show up to an atmosphere where people think they could treat me any type of way. And hold on, G, I'm revealing my heart to you. What are you talking about? That's how I knew something was wrong with people and they was mentally ill and that was a cult. That's how I got to learn how sick our people was and all of these type of things. You get my drift? All the negative thing people said about me, I learned not to let none of that affect me, G. And I just kept coming. And you see we still here today. Right? And you see they not around at all. Get my drift? That's how it works. And they still welcome to come. Because the heart is pure. Get my drift? That's what I'm saying. I love y'all, man. So let's get... Oh, hold on. Okay. So this is something that happens in the heart. You don't have to physically apologize to nobody. Not saying that won't help. You don't have to physically this, that. Sometimes we don't even know what it is we did wrong. Sometimes somebody did something wrong and we just keep it locked up in the chambers of our heart. What did I say? We keep it locked up in the, because that's what this symbolic about, the chambers of our heart. The Father is within the chambers. You got to go meet the Father within the chambers, G. God ain't out here in the open like that. God ain't trying to be seen like that, G. And if it is, it's trying to be seen through you. Leviticus chapter 17, verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. And I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. Because what is the heart? The soul. The blood goes to the what? Heart, the soul. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. It is the what? The blood. So you think a person gonna come and make atonement for you? Or is it the blood? You finally correcting things internally. Now let's get into a little more of this, right? Because you see this Christ wrapped up, right? Now I want to show you this. You see that little star behind the head? You see this star right in the center above Christ's head? That's the same wheel that we have in our ancient Moomyan text right over here in the area they call America. So that's over in Europe. And then I want to show you something that's over here in America real quick. So we see that Christ is symbolic of the heart and represents the heart. You see the heart hanging, the red man hanging. Now look at that wheel that I just showed you that's on their head. This is right in the center of your heart. We broke down this image in a previous text. This is right where your heart is. This is the lung region. This is a disciple, a spirit right here. That's why it's in the black form. The black form is to shadow you when you close your eyes, but you can still see. C's on the right chest side. You get my drift? You see the rabbit right there? You see the same wheel. Get my drift? Got the 3 red stars around God's head, and the 4th one is right there. It's being hidden because God's face is right there, and you see the blue wheel right on the side of it. This is the same exact knowledge. It's an ancient Moomyan text created in Missouri, right? So sometimes when you link the works together, That's another thing that makes sense. That's why I said, trust me, we've been back here doing real research. I don't know what people be thinking. Get what I'm saying? Making sure we understand. We want to do our ancestors a due diligence. I'm not trying to put out just anything. Not just to my people, but to my ancestors too. You know, we want to represent each other in a proper way. So hold on now. I'm going to show you this again. Now, look at this one and look at that one. So we can see a side-by-side imagery. So now you see the same ancient works, and we're decoding it, but did y'all see me use one spell? Or do y'all see me just using so many images? Precept upon precept. Image upon image. Y'all ain't see me use no spells, did I? Nope. Nope. Same people, same knowledge. Look at that. And the same stars right there. And the heart would be right there, Christ. This is your superior mediastinum. This right here is the inferior. So now let's really get into this. Now let's get into this. Right? Now let's get into this. You see that version right there? You see that image right there? Okay. I want you to pay attention to this little bundle. I want you to pay attention to that little bundle. Right? Remember this that I showed you earlier? Now here it is in stone also. The little bundle of joy. You use that, right? Here's Christ in a bundle. Right? One of the disciples bending over. There's Christ in a bundle. Right? And the disciples bending over. You see it in stone and you see it in the text. Right? Okay. Here's Christ in a bundle. Little bundle of joy. Okay. You see those images? Did everybody see the little Christ images in the little bundle? Okay. Now I want to show you a few more. All right. You know what the cross and all of these things represent because of the images that we went through, right? Okay. That's the cross. That's your coastal cartilage. Those ladders. That's the coastal cartilage, which is on the side of your actual, you get what I'm saying? Rib cage. This is right where your heart would be. You get my drift? You see it in a bundle? You see it in a bundle? See it in a bundle? Okay. I want to show you Mary also. Look at Mary. Look at this image of Mary. You see the Father right there holding Christ. And you see Mary. Look at the way she's laying. The mother. See, these ancient images about the mother, father, and the son, which is the spirit. Because the son can be a daughter, son can be a son. Get my drift? Let's really go in with this. Now, look at this imagery of Mary again. It's all breakdowns of you, your body. The Father, Christ, Mary. Look how she's laying. And a bundle too. Look at the bundle. I want you to pay attention to the bundle and pay attention to the word I'm using on purpose. The bundle. The bundle. Okay. All right. We have a video breaking down what the clouds symbolize and represent too. So make sure y'all check that out when you got time. It's on our YouTube also. Here goes the Father again with Christ and Mother Mary. Okay. All right. Now. There's something symbolic within your heart. We did not make this up. This is actually what that culture supposedly. You get my drift? Watch this. There's something special and unique within your heart that sits right in this section. It's called the Interventricular Septum. You see this little part within the heart? That's the actual bundle right here. Look at this. You see that? Hold on, let me let you see them side by side. Let me shrink this. Interventricular septum. That's that right there. Let's go within the symbology. And watch this. There's something that's particular called his bundle or bundle of his that sits within your heart. And this AV node, which is smaller than the SA node, which is the father and symbolic of the father and the mother. This is symbolic of Christ itself and the mother. Also, so when you see her laying down, you got the right bundle branch. You have the left bundle branch. Keep this in mind. You have a right bundle branch and you have a left bundle branch. So when you see those people bundled up beside Christ or the mother, look how she's laying. And then I want you to look at his bundle, the bundle of his. It's called the bundle of his. This is your anatomy, the bundle of his. Who is his? Who is his? And why is she wrapped in a bundle? And why is it laying down the same exact angle and way? Let's look at another image of the bundle of his. All right? This is the ventricular conduction system. What does it mean by conduction system? How you conduct yourself. See, on a physical level, this deals with how your heart conducts itself, how it allows everything to push through your heart, how it allows the impulse within your heart to operate. But now we're going to talk about how you conduct yourself as a soul and spirit, to where do you act the same internally as you do externally? Do you conduct yourself in spirit as you do in flesh? Because this not only deals with your inner body, remember the crossroads that I showed you earlier, right? This deals with the outer body too, and the inner body. Crossroads, because God's looking at all of that. Think about it. One part of you can be seen, the other part of you can't. And the only time the other part of you can be seen that is hidden is when it aligns with what you're showing, when you really are who you say you are. And you match your words. You really are what you show you are. You really about what you say you about. And the only thing that can give a person that understanding is time. A person has to live through it to be able to see, because we all go through our own struggles. So a person might feel some type of way about you at first. You get my drift? A person just might feel some type of, but your job is to stay righteous. Because you're God's bundle, right? God's bundle of joy. His bundle, right? So now you see, when you see this laying right in the center. Hold on, let me show you this imagery again. Now you see why you see little baby Christ in the bundle? You see the little bundle of joy laying that way? The head symbolizes the node. The nod, shall I say? You know, you give someone a head nod. They just put an E at the end of that word, and now it spells node. That's how that's witchcraft and spelling for you, you know. And how somebody hypnotized. That's his bundle. This is symbolic of what's happening in your heart and how to make atonement in your heart. So these works was not just used to get you intelligent and to teach you about real geometry and sacred geometry, not just to get you to understand the world outside of you, but the world within you, not just to get you to understand each part and piece and all of these different things outside of you, but each part and piece and the different things inside of you, not just the history outside of you, but the history inside of you that keeps replaying within your heart. That you will become a slave to, that you will become locked down to, and you can either meet God in them chambers, get my drift, and be sitting on God's lap. You know how they always got you sitting on Santa's lap and all that? Right, that comes from this. The reason why they got Santa wearing the whole red bodysuit is symbolic for the aorta. Get my drift? Sitting on the lap is symbolic of exactly what's happening within your arteries, in your veins, in the heart. The whole symbology. It's not just about how we walked in the physical. God don't care about that. The people do. They'll talk about you for the type of shoes you wear. They'll talk about you for the type of clothes you wear. They'll talk about you for the type of house you live in or don't live in. They'll talk about you because you got some money or don't got some money. They'll ignore that there's a whole colonist system and that these people have their own form of money, and that each people should have their own form of money, as they used to, before being robbed of things and all of these type of things and forced into systems they shouldn't be dealing with. And money should go beyond just cash and this, that. It should be love. It should be loyalty. All of these things that we can really survive off of, that we should be willing to accept beyond just paper. You get my drift? So them type of things do not matter. They're judging you based off an unrighteous system. God cares about how you treated people. And if you don't think it don't, then why is it still bringing up stuff that might have happened 10 years ago with somebody else? 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years